Hello and welcome to Guitars from the Movies. I'm Joe.
I'm Mark, and today we're looking at the guitars from Back to the Future.
So in this episode, we're going to have a look at the guitars that made those films so iconic. A lot of them aren't going to be made today anymore, so we're going to have a look at what those guitars were, why they were so cool, and what the coolest modern equivalents are.
Indeed. So if we look at Back to the Future and the whole trilogy, I think we worked out there's like four main guitars that kind of feature.
Yeah.
Starting with the first one that features, straight off the bat, first movie, first scene, is the Chiquita, the tiny little...
Yeah, a tiny little super shred yellow travel guitar, which is used in that opening scene where Marty McFly is turning on a ludicrous hi-fi like amplifier and turning everything on full and then plugging the jack into his Chiquita last without any popping, which is quite an achievement. But of course the Chiquitas, they don't exist anymore. There's no kind of guitar quite like that at the moment.
No, but what we do have, and what we thought was a good kind of modern equivalent, is this little beast.
The Hofner Shorty.
Indeed it is. So this came around, it was at the 80s, I think, this came around. So kind of the same time as the movie came out, like. So this would have been around the same time as the Chiquita was around.
Yeah, sure.
We have basswood body, it's a rosewood fingerboard, maple neck, and humbucker.
Yeah, just a Hofner humbucker.
Indeed.
Now the body shape isn't quite the same as the Chiquita, but it's super similar. It's still that kind of offset, little kidney bean mini guitar shape. They're
kidney
great.
Bean?
Well, it's sort of kidney beanie, isn't it?
Yeah, like ish. Yeah.
It's a cool travel guitar. With just like a simple humbucker in the bridge.
Yeah, and it's coming in at like just over 100 quid as well, so super affordable.
So if you want to look like Marty McFly in the opening scene, probably not the most iconic scene.
It's going to cost you 100 quid.
Exactly.
So the next guitar we're going to look at features in the scene where Marty is rehearsing with his band to play at the high school dance.
Yeah.
And it was the Ibanez Roadster.
The Ibanez Roadster 2, which in the 80s, Ibanez were kind of more focused on kind of doing things that were closer to what was in the Fender catalogue. Like, I guess what they've sort of progressed to today, which was making modern versions of old shapes. But the Roadster 2 was way more old school, way more like a Strat. And there's nothing like that in the catalogue anymore because Ibanez have really become their own brand. They've totally moved away from that. They've discontinued the Roadsters, but the Roadsters did evolve because the Roadsters became the RGs, which do perform a similar sort of role for guitarists in that they offer like a modern alternative to what would commonly be associated as like a traditional guitar shape or thing.
So we have this beast, which is the Ibanez RG950.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we've chosen maybe a slightly more lavish version of the RG than was in the film, because of course it was quite accurate in the film as like the sort of guitar that a student at college would play. It was the Roadsters offered like an alternative, an affordable alternative to Fender at the time. This is slightly more in the premium price bracket, but Ibanez do RGs like the whole way through. There's a massive range of guitars in that series, and they still offer something for beginners right up to experts, which this is kind of an all singing, all dancing, DiMarzio pickups. What the board is pretty ludicrous. What's the board?
I believe it's Wenge. Also, bonus fact, in the movie, Marty is Michael J. Fox even is actually playing the guitar, the Roadster. Yeah. And also that scene features Huey Lewis as the judge. So next up, probably the most iconic scene with the guitar, if not scene in the entire trilogy, is when Marty McFly is on stage at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance playing Johnny B. Good, and he has a Gibson 345. Yeah. But what do we have on the table?
Well, this is a 335. Now everything else about it is correct. So it's cherry red. It's got gold hardware and pickups and a retrofitted gold Bigsby. And this is about the closest thing coming out of Gibson Memphis at the moment to that guitar.
So you were telling me earlier, and I'm a huge fan of the movie. although I didn't clock this fact. So.
Yeah, the film is set in 1955, but the Gibson 345 didn't become a catalogue model until 1959. Quite famously, that was in an inaccuracy by the art director for Back to the Future. They originally requested something futuristic from Norm's Rare Guitars, where they were renting the instruments out for the film. And I can't remember what it was. He originally gave them like a natural finish, 3 pickup, like big jazz-bodied Gibson. But they went back to him and wanted something in like a cherry red. Quite amusingly, they actually rented this for so long, and then needed it again for the second film, where he goes back to the scene. They had to reshoot stuff using the same guitar. They had to rent it for so long because of that they actually paid the price of that guitar 10 times over just to hire it from Norm's Rare Guitars. And he did apparently offer to sell it to them at one point.
So the last one we're going to look at is in the scene where Back to the Future 2, where Marty's like an older guy and he's in his like office and he's just having a little jam. And I also learned earlier that it also features on the cafe wall. But both those guitars are it's a sparkle blue
PRS CE24, and this is actually the only one in the series that we can get dead on that is something that is made now. And it's not 100% the same. We do have the PRS CE24 here. There are a few things that have changed since PRS have reintroduced it. In fact, since the film came out, PRS have reintroduced and discontinued the CE24 on 2 separate occasions. This is the newest model, and I think the biggest difference between this and the one used in the film is that the CE24, which is PRS's bolt-on, sort of more spanky sounding version of their sort of flagship body shape, came with dot inlays, and now it's got the birds. It gets the same treatment as all of the other guitars, but I think it's back in their catalogue for a different reason this time, because I think when it was out originally, when it would have been in Back to the Future, the CE24 was bolt-on because it was trying to be like a budget PRS. It was trying to be like a more cheap to manufacture than a regular sort of PRS, like custom 24. Whereas now, when that happened, people realised actually they really liked the sound of a CE24. They really liked the sound of a bolt-on PRS just because it did have that. It seemed to be able to do a little bit more than it could with the set neck. So now it's considered very much a premium model by PRS rather than an affordable model.
So that was the guitars from the Back to the Future trilogy.
But what film do you want to see us do next? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you've enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give us a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please hit the subscribe button. And we shall see you very soon.